Friends, today let me introduce you to one of the most famous characters in world literature, Rodion Raskolnikov, from the novel Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Raskolnikov is a young man, once a student, living in St. Petersburg, Russia. His life is very difficult. He's extremely poor, hardly has money to survive, and struggles even for food and rent. Still, inside his mind, he carries pride and big ideas. He's intelligent, he thinks deeply, but he's also very troubled. Because of his poverty, and because he feels different from other people, he starts believing that maybe he's special. Maybe he has the right to do things that ordinary people cannot. Even though he's educated, inside he feels lost. You can say he's homeless in his own mind. He stays away from people, avoids friends and family, and lives alone in his thoughts. Sometimes he feels superior, like he's better than others. But at the same time, he's weak, physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is what makes him so complex. On one side, he has pride, theories, and intelligence. On the other, his outside life is full of poverty, pain, and struggle. This clash between his inner ideas and his outer reality is the heart of his story, and it is this conflict that pushes him to make decisions that will change his life forever.
Now let's talk about Raskolnikov's dangerous idea, the theory of the extraordinary man. Raskolnikov begins to think that in this world, not all people are the same. He divides people into two groups, ordinary and extraordinary. Ordinary people, according to him, must always follow the rules, obey the law, and live simple lives. But extraordinary people, like great leaders, thinkers, or revolutionaries, they are different. He believes such people have the right to cross moral lines if it means they can achieve something big for society. Even if it means killing, they are allowed because their contribution will be much greater. In his own mind, he justifies this idea with an example. There is a pawnbroker lady, Alyona. She is a greedy, cruel woman who takes advantage of poor people by giving loans at very high interest. Raskolnikov convinces himself that if he kills her, he will actually do society a favor. One evil person will be removed, and many poor people will be free from her trap. This theory starts giving him courage. He begins to plan a terrible crime. But the truth is, deep inside, he is not fully convinced. His mind says one thing, his conscience says another.
Finally, the dangerous idea turns into action. One night, Raskolnikov gathers all his courage and goes to the pawnbroker Alyona's house. With an axe in his hand, he kills her. But suddenly, something unexpected happens. Alyona's innocent sister, Lizaveta, walks in. Out of fear and panic, Raskolnikov kills her too. This second murder was never part of his plan. From this moment, everything begins to collapse. He quickly takes some money and jewelry, trying to make the crime look like robbery. He hides the things under a rock, thinking nobody will ever find out. But escaping the police is not the real problem. The real punishment begins inside his own mind. Raskolnikov starts feeling restless. His body becomes weak. He gets high fever, nightmares, and loses control. He avoids people, acts strangely, and lives in constant fear that someone will catch him. More than his body, it is his mind that suffers. The guilt does not leave him. Every shadow feels like suspicion. Every sound feels like danger. This is where we see the real punishment of crime is not only in the court, but also inside the human heart. Finally, the dangerous idea turns into action. One night, Raskolnikov gathers all his courage and goes to the pawnbroker Alyona's house. With an axe in his hand, he kills her. But suddenly, something unexpected happens. Alyona's innocent sister, Lizaveta, walks in. Out of fear and panic, Raskolnikov kills her too. This second murder was never part of his plan. From this moment, everything begins to collapse. He quickly takes some money and jewelry, trying to make the crime look like robbery. He hides the things under a rock, thinking nobody will ever find out. But escaping the police is not the real problem. The real punishment begins inside his own mind. Raskolnikov starts feeling restless. His body becomes weak. He gets high fever, nightmares, and loses control. He avoids people, acts strangely, and lives in constant fear that someone will catch him. More than his body, it is his mind that suffers. The guilt does not leave him. Every shadow feels like suspicion. Every sound feels like danger. This is where we see the real punishment of crime is not only in the court, but also inside the human heart.
After the crime, Raskolnikov cannot live in peace anymore. His heart is full of guilt, shame, and fear. He starts acting strangely. He avoids people, even his own family. His loyal friend Razumikin tries to help him, but Raskolnikov pushes him away. Every knock on the door feels like police. Every person's stare feels like suspicion. His mind is no longer free. In this darkness, he meets Sonia. She is a poor girl, forced into a painful life of prostitution to feed her family. But even with her suffering, she remains gentle, humble, and full of faith. She shows kindness when the whole world is cruel. Sonia becomes like a mirror for Raskolnikov's soul. Looking at her, he sees what real sacrifice, love, and humanity mean. But inside him, the battle continues. Was his theory about the extraordinary man right? Or was it just an excuse for murder? Is this endless guilt and mental torture already worse than any punishment a court can give him? Raskolnikov realizes his real prison is not outside, but inside his own mind.
Now comes a very important part of the story. Porfiry Petrovich is the clever investigator. From the beginning, he doubts Raskolnikov. But instead of direct proof, Porfiry uses his mind. He talks, he jokes, he asks strange questions, just to play with Raskolnikov's conscience. Raskolnikov, already weak from guilt, starts to lose control. Many times he almost admits the truth, but then fear stops him. Fear of punishment, fear of shame, fear of losing his pride. Slowly, the pressure becomes too much. His body is sick, his mind is tired, his heart is restless. On one side is his theory. On the other side is his guilty conscience. Sina's kindness and faith give him courage. Finally, Raskolnikov confesses. He tells the truth, not because Porfiry has proof, but because his own heart cannot carry the burden anymore. His conscience wins. His humanity wins over his dangerous theory.
After Raskolnikov confesses, the court gives him punishment, 8 years of hard labor in Siberia. It is a very tough life. Cold, hunger, pain, and endless work. But here begins his real journey. Sonia, with her pure heart, does not leave him. She follows him to Siberia, stands by his side, gives him strength. In prison, Raskolnikov suffers a lot, but slowly this suffering starts to clean his soul.
he begins to understand that human life is valuable, love is important, and no theory is bigger than truth and compassion. He realizes one thing clearly: only by accepting pain, taking responsibility, and changing inside can a person find real peace. This is his slow but true road to redemption.
From the story of crime and punishment, we learn some very deep lessons about life. Guilt and conscience. You can try to justify crime with big theories, but your own conscience will never let you rest. Inside punishment is always heavier than outside punishment. Poverty and despair. When life gives extreme poverty and suffering, people can think of desperate and dangerous ideas. Society's struggles can push individuals to the edge. Redemption through suffering. Real change comes only when you accept pain and responsibility. Suffering, if accepted with honesty, can clean the soul and give a new life. Compassion and human relationships. No matter how dark a person becomes, kindness, love, and humility can heal the heart. Sonia's character proves that. Morality versus theory. Human life is greater than any theory. If your ideas ignore real feelings and compassion, they will only destroy you. So, crime and punishment is not just about one man's crime, it is about every human being's inner battle between pride and conscience, selfishness and compassion.
Dostoevsky is not just telling us a crime story. He is asking us deep questions. What is right? What is wrong? What is the value of human life? He reminds us that no matter how intelligent or proud you are, your conscience and humanity are always bigger than any theory. He shows us that suffering, love, and courage are more powerful than law and punishment. And the final message is this: even in the darkest guilt, there is always hope. Redemption is possible. If you accept your mistakes, take responsibility, and choose compassion, you can find peace again. This is why Crime and Punishment is not just a novel. It is a mirror for our own lives, our own struggles, and our own conscience.